Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where today we're going to be taking a look at a newly released Wii knife that is none other than the Knives Saakshi. Now, before I go any further into this review, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in today. If you like what you see, please do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, follow along, and I will continue to bring you the content. I'd also like to let you guys know that today this episode is sponsored by White Mountain Knives. Check them out for all of your knife and EDC needs. And if you find something you want off their website, use this code right here, WSW10, for 10% off your order at White Mountain Knives. Now, you will also find this knife here linked below for purchase if you want to pick one up, if it fits your fancy. I think this will fit a lot of people's fancy because this is a very attractive knife indeed. A very simple knife, but also a very attractive knife with some pretty nice features to it that we'll go over here in just a second. But first, let's take a look at some overall specs on this knife right here. We have an overall length of 7.59 inches with a blade length coming in at 3.3 inches. That cutting edge is 3.25 inches and a blade width of 1 inch. Blade thickness on this guy is 0.13 inches with a blade material of CPM 20CV, that nice premium American made steel, with a drop point style blade, a full flat grind, a handle length coming in at 4.29 inches with a handle thickness of 0.53 inches. Handle width on this guy is 0.83 inches with some very, very nice marbled carbon fiber on both sides, with a liner lock in between, a user of a right-hand tip-up carry, a weight coming in at 3.07 ounces, and a price of $182.75. Not too bad of a price for what you're getting, in all honesty. A while back, I reviewed the Ray Laconico Wii release. That was coming in at like $216, which I thought was a little much, but that was also factoring in the royalties that Ray got from the design, so kind of made sense. But I think this is a much more reasonable price for a knife that, in as far as build and material, pretty similar to that knife. Now let's take a look at some size comparisons here. We have the quiet carry waypoint, and we also have the ProTech Malibu. As you can see there, that right there are three very good looking EDCs. Very, very similar lengths, but also very different in their own rights. Some awesome knives right there. And got two more for you, and one is a very good comparison. The one that really reminds me of the looks of this knife more than anything. Not this one. This is the Benchmade Bug Out. But the next one is the one that really comes to mind for me, and that is none other than the Ferrum Forge Stinger. Now, the Stinger is just a little shorter, really not much. I mean, just a hair shorter than the Saakshi. The Saakshi is really something in between a mix of the Ferrum Forge Stinger and the Ferrum Forge Gent that was available on Mass Drop. They haven't been available for quite a while now, but definitely something in between there. The biggest difference is it doesn't have that finger choil, which some people don't like, but some people really do prefer to not have a finger choil because you get that extra little bit of cutting edge down there. So all personal preference, nothing, no real right or wrong answer there. But now as for this Saakshi right here, this is just a very simple drop point blade, but one that is absolutely elevated with an awesome fuller. We're going to talk more about that fuller when we get into the action portion of this review, but it is definitely worth making a very close note on that. This is a huge part of this blade right here. The edge on this knife is pretty darn phenomenal, coming in at 13 thousandths paired with a full flat grind. Yeah, yep, it's very slicey indeed. Look at that thing. Just phenomenal grind on this guy. Gonna take care of any of your slicing needs quick, fast, and in a hurry. Other than that, there's really not much else to this blade. It's a pretty simple blade. I will say there is some very nice jimping up here that does work very well. It bites into your thumb. It's very functional jimping, so all good there. But outside of that, this is still just a very good example of how something simple can still be great. That's exactly what this is. Going into the handle and ergos, the ergos are very solid on this guy. I still like to use the area up here that isn't necessarily a choil, but I like to wrap my finger up there sometimes if I'm going to do some, some precise or close, delicate cuts. I just feel like I have a little more control when I do that, but a reminder, use your knives with caution, guys. This is not the smartest thing in the world to do, but I'm not the smartest man in the world. I'm nothing close to it. So if I want to put my finger here, I'm going to do it. But I still like that. I like having that option, especially with this jimping. You get a really nice, solid little pinch grip here, and I like that a lot. I also love this marble carbon fiber. It has just a very few really small, like little flaw blemishes down here. That's just the nature of the beast, guys, when it comes to marble carbon fiber. Very rarely do you have a perfect, flawless finish on the surface of marble carbon fiber, because with the polishing and the sanding and everything that goes into it, it just happens. This side is pretty much flawless. Looks really good. And I love that it's got the nice curves and the waviness to it. Sometimes marble carbon fiber just looks like shredded carbon fiber, and that always kind of irks me. This is true marble carbon fiber and looks absolutely fantastic. Clip is decent on this. There's no real hot spot. It works well. It's nothing special, nothing to write home about, but it gets the job done, and it looks well with the knife. Definitely looks like it belongs on the knife. So that's one of the more important things to me, outside of course, can't be any hot spots or anything like that. Definitely no hot spots. You feel the clip, but it's not a real aggravating one. It's just kind of there, and it does the job and works well. I also really like how this liner lock here has a lock bar insert. I don't know if maybe I just missed this on a lot of other knives, but I feel like you don't see that very often. So that's a nice little addition there. And again, if that's something that is on a lot more liner locks than I'm realizing, then I guess shame on me, but I don't notice it very often. So maybe not. Let me know. Am I just seeing this for the first time when I should have seen it like over a year ago? But I don't know. Let me know, guys. You also have very easy access to this liner lock. Very nice. It's got some good jimping in there, and really no real issue there. I also like the thickness of this handle. As you can see, this is contoured pretty well. And this is the biggest thing that stuck out to this knife for me when I first put it in hand was the thickness. As I said, coming in at 0.53 inches, definitely thicker than you're expecting. I think most of us would be expecting somewhere in the mid 0.4, 0.48, something like that. Seems to be kind of the norm nowadays. But to have that extra little bit, I tell you, you really notice a huge difference between something like 0.45 and 0.53 inches. Very significant, and especially when it's contoured, it gives it an extra little nice, friendly feel in hand, I guess. It feels really good. Really, really good. Going into the action on this guy, it is fantastic. Now, I wasn't really expecting anything less with the Wii, and especially based off just the overall design of the Stinger and the Ferrum Forged Gent. Those had fantastic action. The Gent was made by Wii, so you you knew it was going to happen, and this is so darn good. The flipper is fantastic. It works well whether you want to light switch it or if you want to push button it. Either way, it flies out just fine, and it's one of the few times to where I kind of feel like whether you light switch it or whether you push button it, it comes out with the same speed. This is the same consistency. I really like that a lot with this. And now this fuller, guys. Let's talk about this fuller for a second, and let me bring back the Ferrum Forged Stinger because I really like the fuller on the Stinger too. But there's one big difference between these two knives. Now, I can middle finger flick both of them, but when it comes to the Stinger, I kind of have to, I feel like I'm digging my middle finger in a little more to get into that fuller and then get the blade out, which again, it works fine. Action's really good on the Stinger, but this Saakshi, it's just easier. It's really just easier. You have a little more room to put your finger in here. As you can see on the Stinger, bring it back here real quick, you kind of have this little tip here, which is where I want to put my middle finger. You don't want to put your middle finger up here, high up on the fuller, because it'll make it harder to deploy the blade. You want to put it right in the middle, and right in the middle, you kind of have that little curvature of the handle kind of getting closer to the fuller. You don't have that here. You have a little more of an open area, and that makes a very big difference. it just makes it very easy. You just very casually, without really thinking much, put your middle finger in there and flick the blade out. Doesn't take any wrist. And look at my fingernail, guys. I mean, I don't exactly have, kind of nasty fingernail, but I don't have long fingernails. I mean, I'm a nail biter, a nail clipper. I never have long fingernails. So to do that with this fingernail is pretty darn nice, and it is a very fidgety knife, very smooth, crisp detent. It's the same action you look for in every Wii that you usually get, and you definitely have it in this one right here. So no issues with the action at all. Action is absolutely fantastic. Overall thoughts on this guy are very positive. There's really not much I would change on this guy. If I changed anything, I would probably just put a flat clip on here, but I'm to the point to where I think I'd say that about darn near every knife. So that really, it's not really here nor there. It actually really doesn't matter. It's just completely my opinion. But like I said, the clip does work, and it works fine. And it's a nice deep carry. This is also an excellent gentleman's knife, a fantastic gentleman's knife. You got the deep carry clip to pull it down. You got the nice carbon fiber, not too loud of a knife, very clean design. So an excellent gentleman's knife. Just a very solid and safe offering from Wii. Sometimes staying safe and just making a solid, clean design can really pay some benefits, and I think that's what this knife is going to do. I expect this one to be a pretty good seller because it's gonna fit into a lot of people's preferences and what they look for, and I think it's going to do really well. Big fan of this one. One I would highly recommend all day long. The Knives Saakshi. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think about this one? Are you okay with it looking so much like the Gent? You can't get the Gent anymore, so I think that's actually pretty cool that now you can get something close like it and with a more premium level. So I enjoyed this one. I hope you guys did. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and until the next one, I'm out.